All right. All right. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone, to Higurashi. When They Cry, we finished Tataragoroshi last time, and now we're finally moving on to Himatsubushi. I think that's how you say it. Himatsubushi. Himatsubushi. Okay. I could look up what that means. I could just Google what does that mean? It'll obviously give me a direct definition, considering I'm pretty sure Higurashi will come up with it. But I'm not gonna do that. The last game, Tataragoroshi, it explained what it was. It was Killing Curse. The first part was, of course, Demon the Way. The second one was Tanagashi. I actually don't remember what Tanagashi means. I forgot. I forgot what that was. It had something to do with the ritual itself. I think, like the Fuck. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up because I am curious. Gashi meaning. Okay. Cotton drifting. That's what it meant. Cotton drifting, which is for the ritual itself, which is the ritual that not ritual, the well, I guess like the festival that we started with. But anyway, we're here. If you're curious of how I felt about the last part, I really loved it. I explained. You could skip to the end of the last part during maybe the credits run, where I talked a lot about my personal thoughts about it, how much I really liked it, my faults with it, my expectations my curiosity for this part, because I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what's going to follow up after that, because the way they talked about the ending of the last part and the bonus thing. Oh wait, fuck! I forgot to put. Where's the fuck is? Hold on. It doesn't really matter, I guess. Not like anyone cares, but yeah, there I am. Okay. So yeah, the way they talked about it last time, it made it seem as though this part is like a bonus chapter, less of an actual full-on something. I don't know, because it's just the way they worded it. It was like, oh, we're looking forward to you to solve the mystery in the next part. But in the meantime, we're giving you guys a bonus chapter or something like that. That's what it made it seem. So curious to see what this is. It has Rika's face on the cover, so probably starring Rika. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it, guys. Let's check this out. Let's see what's going on in Hinamasubushi. Hinatsubushi. But don't worry, I'll get it down in time. Okay, time killing chapter. Oh, is that what it actually means? Now that I think about it, is that what did all the chapters start with it telling you what the title actually means? Because if it is, then I guess I'm an idiot. It's okay. For you, the final mystery. Okay, no, it's okay. Final mystery. Time killing chapter. I now entrust you with all the mysteries hidden within Higurashi when they cry. However, comical it may be, if you have reached any conjecture, then you have passed. This final novel is a meager reward for you. Conjecture is impossible. You have the right to reject this story. So, are they trying to say, yeah, you can skip this and just go to the next thing? It didn't even tell me the difficulty, which is pretty funny. Oh, this arc includes choices that were added in the console version. These choices result in dialogue changes that can lead to the bad end. Do you want to see these choices? Yeah, sure. Oh, wow. Oh, wait. So is this really just bonus content? Skip additional choices, show only content from the PC version. Prompt additional choices from console version. Prompt choices and highlight correct answers. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think this is good. I think having this is perfectly fine. Yeah, honestly, this is not. I'm probably, to me, this is probably the better out of the two, the final one, because that way I can click the wrong answer, view the wrong answer, and then go back and just go with the correct answer. To me, that's fine. None of these are actually super oh, who is the criminal, you ask? Do not search for them in the story. Who is the criminal, you ask? Do not even know what the criminal did. Who the criminal? Who is the criminal? Who will kill me now? Frederica or something. Midsummer 1985. Okay, interesting. Midsummer. I had misread the time and ended up arriving too early. Oh wait, not that they said that this was console exclusive, so this was never released with the original game. Then I'm assuming like the original Dojin games, like they didn't include this. It was just the 3 main chapters and then probably the answer arc. And then when it got released on console, it added. Well, I'm assuming there's 3 answer arcs because I just assume because it's like 4 parts, main parts in the Steam like library thing. And the way they're separated is it looks like it's like question arc, question arc, question arc, question arc 4, and then answer arc, answer arc, answer arc. So each associated. So now I don't know what the 4th part of the answer arc is. I don't know what that is. Okay. I had misread the time and ended up arriving too early. The schedule boarded flipped with a series of clanks. My flight to Sapporo was still a bit later on. I still had over an hour before boarding. Boarding. Well, I might as well close my eyes for a bit on the bench over there then. I came here directly from work, so maybe the fatigue from that makes me sleepy. Finding a suitable bench, I put my luggage on the seat next to me and settled down. I sighed like an old man. I had hoped to stay young forever, but had become splendidly middle-aged. Apparently, the rumor that even people in the later half of their 20s experience a decline in their physical strength wasn't a lie. I had been mind-numbingly busy at work lately, so I rarely had any time to myself. This might have been the first time I had been able to enjoy a journey alone like this since I was a student. The reason behind this trip was to meet an old friend. It was a bit strange to call him an old friend. In fact, it might be better to call him a bad one. After retiring a couple of years ago, I moved to Sapporo, my mother's hometown. This mother passed away soon after, and he was now peacefully enjoying his second lease on life. His name was Kuroda Oishi. Oh, wow, okay. He's a former detective from a primary investigation unit at the station in Okinomiya, XX Prefecture. To be honest, the only direct contact we ever had didn't last more than 3 days. After that, we exchanged New Year's cards, but never met again. So this would be the first time meeting him in 7 years. In other words, we met 7 years ago. In 1978. There was something I had to ask to talk to him about concerning that time. To explain that, it was impossible not to recall the incident that happened back then. The kidnappings, the details and resolutions of which were resigned to darkness, Also, it was impossible to recall a certain mysterious girl. My name is Mamoru Akasaka. It was a year that had been strangely hot even though it was only June. Early summer 1978. So this guy's recalling his experience in Hinamizawa. Mamoru, what was it? Akasaka. Mamoru Akasaka. Did we meet him? I don't think we met anyone like that.
はい、さようなら。車に気をつけるんですよ。お友達の家に寄り道なんかしないように。明日の教科書の準備は必ず寝る前にしておくんですよ。
Clatter, clatter, clatter. The lively sound of children running towards the hallway.
でさ、そんなの俺持ってるわよ。いらねえよ。
A unique high-pitched voice of youth. The energetic trill of the cicadas went completely unheard by their ears. Children returning home from school split off one by one from the groups of friends as they went through intersections in the residential area. Even though there were several of them in a group as they left the school, as they got closer to their homes, their numbers dwindled. That's why the fewer friends you were walking home with acted as an indicator that you were that much closer to your destination. He finally parted ways with his last friend. A van was parked on the bent in the road. At a bent in the road. The window was open, the sound of the radio leaking outside. It must have been the news or something.
たため、道路交通法違反、公務執行妨害で3名を逮捕しました。一連のhinamizawaダム建設反対をめぐる運動は、先月の機動隊との流血事件を境に過激化の一途をたどっており、警察では過激な活動家による次の事件を警戒しています。先週も建設省庁舎前での犬飼建設大臣への直訴事件があったばかりで。
The boy's ears perked up at the mention of the name Inukai. At that moment, a man's face peeked out suddenly from the window of the van. His behavior was a little different than of the man looking around to see if there was any incoming traffic before he opened the door of his vehicle. His eyes meeting suddenly with the unfamiliar man, the boy panicked slightly.
ウグイス OK。
ひばり OK。前後2ブロック確保した。いいぞ。
The man in the passenger seat whispered quietly. Nodding in acknowledgement, the man opened the door and stood before the boy.
君、犬飼俊樹君？
Toshiki Inukai. While asking that, the man peered at the boy's name tag. Toshiki Inukai. The name was written plainly there. Hi. All I can think is Keiichi. Okay. Yeah, I forgot. Let me just check the stream real quick. I'm getting into this, so let me just check the stream real quick if it's good. And I didn't fuck up or anything. Always a concern. The phone rang for the third time. I usually let a phone ring for like at least 3 times. If he reached out, he could easily pick up the receiver. However, he was concerned that if he picked that up before it had even finished ringing once, whoever was on the other end of the line would think him a fairly cheap person. Like I think I had that insecurity at some point where I was like, oh damn, if I pick up the phone too fast, they're gonna think I'm just like lonely or something. When it really doesn't matter. But I get that. I think that's pretty funny. Hold on, let me just see. Okay, there we go. It says I'm live. Okay, it's live. Okay. Yeah, it says I'm live. I'm good. Okay. However, he was concerned that if he realized it would be a fairly cheap person. Okay. That's why he normally never picked up the phone until the 3rd ring. Hello. Oh my god. Even he thought it was a worthless habit. However, his thinking that there isn't much meaning in waiting for just the 3 rings, wouldn't wait for 5 to be alright, was very much a reality. His mind filled with such trifling thoughts, he picked up the phone after the 3rd ring he had finished. It reverb dampened by his action.
もしもし。もしもし。
He knew that sometimes due to the malfunction at the switchboard, calls didn't connect well. At those times, it was best to hang up and let the person on the other end call again. Thinking that the moment he began to hang up the phone, he sensed that he was definitely connected after all. He felt the presence of the person on the other end of the line keeping silent.
もしもし。
Interesting. There was no way they didn't hear his question. What was the meaning of this? It wasn't like he didn't know that people could use silent calls to harass others. However, he'd never received a call like that until today. Maybe he was just lucky before. He didn't believe that he would receive such a call on this phone. There was no direct call to or from this line. Everything had to go through an operator. Therefore, there was absolutely no way the call would be connected unless it was verified that there was someone else on the other end of the line. Okay, that's interesting. That's why he didn't understand how to deal with the silent call, and instead settled into a
あん
confusion.
た、誰だか知らないが、 また、かけ直してください。
Intending to be the parting line, he made to slam down the receiver. It was at that moment the person on the other end spoke for the first
あな
time.
たが名乗ってくれないから困ってんですよ。
What the fuck? What is happening?
あんたが犬飼大臣じゃないなら、さっさと電話を切ってください。
He couldn't help but be surprised by the extremely strange voice on the other end of the line. Was there a human alive who could speak with that hoarse and metallic voice? No, this was a voice he had heard somewhere before. That was the kind of voice that was on the lowbrow documentaries that they used when they wanted to hide the identity of a speaker, wasn't it? The voice he was hearing over the line was exactly like
あん
that.
た、誰？
だから、それはこっちが聞いてるんですよ。あんた、犬飼大臣じゃないの？
Inukai hesitation to answer. Unable to discern the intent of the suspicious phone call, he had a vague feeling that something was off. He thought about hanging up the phone and asking the operator who initiated the call. However, he forced himself to restrain the urge and for the time being, chose to state his name and
そう
listen.
です。犬飼です。名乗りましたよ。
私の名前なんてどうでもいいんです。
Oh, well then I guess I'm hanging up, bitch.
まず、あなたがどういう立場に置かれているか、あなたは今、自分の席で電話をしていますね。
Technically, I'm standing up, so screw you.
では、あなたの席の右側の一番下の引き出しを開けてみてください。
Sorry, I keep forgetting. My pace of reading sometimes outpaces the dialogue, so I tend to skip it faster. And also, someone watching might be reading along, so I'll try not to do that as much, even though it's still just a bad habit. The lowest drawer to the right of the minister's chair. There was a lock on it, not enough to function as a safety, but nonetheless, it was a drawer that contained some valuable things. That's why Inukai thought that the person wanted some of the important information contained within the drawer.
すまんが、開けるつもりはないよ。自分の名前も名乗れんやつの言いなりになる言われはない。
Yeah, fuck him.
引き出しを開けてくれないなら、この電話を切ります。きっと、後悔することになりますよ。まずは引き出しを開けてから考えてもいいんじゃないですか？
Inukai didn't like the following orders from the suspicious person one bit. However, he was concerned about what the man had said, regretting it, so he decided to open the drawer. He took a small key he kept stowed in his wallet and unlocked the drawer. He had his hand stopped right before he opened it. What if there was a bomb inside and it would explode if the drawer was opened? The delusion took hold of him. He quelled that instinct and opened it.
開けてくれましたか？そこにあるものが何かわかりますよね？
これはどういうことだ？
Well, what is it? Oh my god.
どういうことか説明する必要なんかないですよね。
It's a Super Nintendo and it's not even out yet. I don't know if there's any need for me to explain, is there?
時間を差し上げますので、少しお考えください。また後ほどこちらから連絡いたします。それでは失礼。
I'll contact you later.
待て。もしもし？もしもし？
The call had already ended. That would not change no matter how much he yelled at it. Even still, Inukai, without realizing that, continued yelling into the receiver for a while. The drawer still didn't open. On top of the folder crammed into the drawer, it laid there. Toshiki Inukai, written in plain letters on the grade schooler's name tag, just lying there. Enshrined there, completely out of place, as if it were cowering. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to an actual person is complete. Oh wow, okay. All right, I forgot there's like an opening. Yeah, I'll just leave it playing. Fucking. Dun, 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 dun. This shit better be bumping, bro. Like I said, nothing will ever beat the Higurashi theme from the original anime. Like, that shit is peak. That shit is like the perfect opening for the series. Whoa. Whoa, big head ass Rika. Yo, why is her head so big? Is that Inukai? Or, what did he say his name is? So this takes place... Whoa, is that Satoshi? Whoa. The torture chamber. Oh, hey. Whoa. Who the hell is this? Whoa, who's that? Who's that? What the fuck is happening? The song is pretty good. I kind of like the song. Oh, hey. Alright. Hopefully that doesn't, like, fuck up the video. I should have probably been talking more. I kind of talked a little bit, but, like, I should have been talking more. Just to, like, not content ID it. I think from now on, I'm probably going to be skipping these. Like, I don't think I'm going to enable them in the rest of the series, probably. I mean, granted, I didn't know what was going on, but, like, clearly there's going to be a lot of new shit happening here. Do you remember Yuki? Oh, no, sorry. Do you remember Yuki? This picture. This is where I first proposed to you. The brief moment before you nodded back, you probably wouldn't know just how much it seemed like an eternity to me. Yes, I would have never thought the amount of time could feel like an eternity compared to how long I had to wait for you to propose to me. It was from the moment I met you until today, compared to the time I spent since I was born. It might only be a brief period, but they were definitely precious, beautiful days that deserve to be called an eternity. That time continues even now. From now on, I wonder if it'll be a boy, or maybe a girl? Either one is fine. Boy or girl, either way, it's living proof that we love each other. If it's a boy, we'll name him after you, Mamoru. If it's a girl, we'll put the Yuki from my name in hers. Thinking about names is fun that in the end we still haven't decided yet. There's still time to puzzle over it. Not that long of a time, actually. You see, Yuki, there's something I have to apologize for today. It's about your job. Sorry. It looks like an annoying bit of work has come up. In the worst case, I might not be able to be there for the delivery. It's fine. You have a very important job. You do, what you do protects the way we live. Compared to you, it's nothing. Please, go ahead. When you return, I'll be waiting here with our child. Thank you. Also, I'm sorry. Please don't apologize. If you feel guilty about it, then you can just atone. If I atone that much, no matter how much money I have, it won't be enough. Hee hee. It's a joke. Now, go on. As I left the room, I bumped into an elderly man. It was Yuki's father. In other words, my father-in-law.
お父さん、邪魔する気はなかったから廊下で待たせてもらったよ。聞き耳を立てるつもりはなかったが、生きたまえ、ユキエは。 ああいう娘だ。
Yuki.
何があっても自分が君の枷になることを望む。
私はこれまで幸恵に様々な犠牲を強いてきました。出産という人生の節目にまで彼女に犠牲を強いることを。
君が本当にそう思うなら、仕事が終わったら君が仕事を投げ出して付き添ってくれるよりも、そうした方がきっと幸恵も喜ぶだろう。
ありがとうございます。
君がとても大切な仕事をしていることは、自分の仕事を誇りに思いなさい。幸恵は君が見事難題を解決して凱旋するのを楽しみ。
はい。
I jumped into a taxi that was waiting outside. Compared to the time when I first got here, the number on the fare meter had grown considerably. It seemed the modest time Yuki and I had spent together wasn't so modest from an objective point of
待たせ
view.
てすみません。やってください。
いえいえ。では参りますよ。
The taxi the taxi jerked as it changed gears to accelerate, soon burying the hospital my wife was in behind in throng of buildings. If it was to end as a really troublesome ordeal, I probably wouldn't be returning for quite some time. To call a rookie like me, and on top of that, one who's off duty, it seemed that the section chief was calling for all hands on deck. Oh, so he's part of the so if this is the same guy, he did mention he worked with Higurashi before, and it's been 7 years. So yeah, this is before then. The veteran under brass gathering and emergency bases happened occasionally. This was the first time, though, that I had experienced everybody gathering together like this. Whatever was happening, there was no doubt it was going to be something novel. Right when my wife was ready to give birth, if I wanted to spend the time to curse my misfortune, I'd be here all day. Even the verdant ginkgo tree lining the street that had been brightening my mood seemed to lack some of their usual luster. Eventually, the government office came into view. Briefly holding my breath, I let the feeling of tension course through my body once again. I had to remember that work I was doing was important, necessary, and difficult. I composed myself and sharpened my wit. Ready? The taxi stopped in front of the building. Kusugo, Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department, Public Safety Division.
全員揃いました。赤坂くん、ブラインドを下ろしてくれる？
The blinds were usually closed when they needed to use the projector or if the discussion was going to contain some particularly disturbing content. Ooh, shit. The blinds closed with the satisfying sound darkened the interior of the room. Immediately, the inside of the room was completely drained of the pleasant morning atmosphere, leaving behind only a cold illumination of the fluorescent lighting. After the supervisor ensured that everyone was present, he nodded to the section chief once again. With everyone on the edge of their seats, the chief stood up solemnly and began to give his report.
推定48時間前、建設大臣の孫にあたる建設省幹部の子息が誘拐された模様です。建設大臣は事態を穏便に済ませるため、警察へ通報せず要求に応じるものと思われます。
It seemed that approximately 48 hours earlier, the Minister of Construction's grandson, who also the son of one of the senior staff members, was kidnapped. The reason why it was phrased that way was because the person in question didn't admit it had happened.
大臣宅の通話を監視した結果、都外からと思われる不審な電話が数件確認されました。誘拐された子供は病気療養中となっているが、通院の形跡はなく、周辺での目撃例もなく、その他いくつかの理由から 事件発生は間違いないものと断定しました。
Here, they omitted the detail that brought this incident to light. If you think about it, that meant that before this incident happened, the minister's residence had been under surveillance already. I won't use the word spied upon. Of course, there wouldn't have been court approval of this, and it would have been very hard to explain to ordinary citizens. However, it was quite an effective method to catch wind of the incident like this before they got worse. I'd like for you to understand that dealing with these cases before they become a problem is the job of the Public Safety Division.
なぜ警察に通報せず要求を鵜呑みに？
大臣たる者が警察を信用できないってんだから。
犯人グループは誘拐初期に自分たちが大臣の生活をかなり高度に監視していることを警告し、その証拠を示した様子です。大臣が屈服し、
警察へ通報してもすぐにわかるぞって？
大臣の近辺に内通者がいる可能性か。
Several of the higher ranking members who seem to have experience with this kind of thing let out a deep sigh. Interesting.
犯人グループの目的が要求にあるのか、事件そのものにあるのかは不明ですが、いずれにせよ、国益を脅かす事態に発展する可能性が極めて高い。
If their goal was to simply have their demands met for monetary gain, that would have been nice. However, if this was some politically motivated shakeup, things would get a lot more complicated.
被害者の協力がないということは、脅迫内容も要求も一切不明ということか。
本件は内通者の水準がかなり高いと思われるため、当室のみの極秘捜査とします。
Maybe a mole. Due to the fact that we believe that there may be a mole involved in this incident, the investigation is highly classified. Only the people in this room are to know of
また
this.
本件は本日より最優先事項となり、これまでの通常業務を一時凍結して対応します。よろしいですね。
After that, the supervisor continued on, tactfully explaining our course of action. If this incident were to become public, it was possible that the minister's political life would be over. I'll spare you the explanation on how the rest of the dominoes would fall, but in the end, support in the Diet would decline, followed by a non-confidence vote and a snap election. And it might even extend communist influence. In other words, we wanted to handle this delicately.
川崎と佐伯は大臣宅、子供宅の通話を24時間監視。大臣の動向を探れ。動きがあるたびに逐一報告せよ。残る各職員は担当団体ごとに本件との関連を調査。最近動きが不穏な特殊ラインは集中的にやれ。
On the commies.
それから外国勢力も水を漏らすな。
I've experienced one or two unapplicable situations before. This, however, was the first time I've seen things get this hectic. Several sophisticated conversations were progressing without the involvement of a rookie like me. I didn't intend to be timid, but I couldn't hide my confusion at this unfamiliar situation. I snapped back to alertness upon hearing my name called. Yo, I'm a rookie, bro. Like, I don't know what you want me to do.
赤坂君は大臣に陳情してきた環境保護団体関連を調査してくれ。中でも新聞でも騒ぎになってるひなみ沢ダム建設反対の団体をよく調査すること。 住民団体の仕業とは到底思えないが、全ての可能性を潰していかなくてはならない。
わかりました。Hinamizawaダム反対か。
直接現地へ行った方がいいだろう。現地県警で情報を取れ。かなり過激な団体らしく、向こうの公安でもマークしてるらしいぞ。
わかりました。現地へ出港します。
奥さん、出産控えてるんだって？こんなタイミングで申し訳ないけど、協力頼むよ。時間がかけられないから、人海戦術で総当たりで行くしかないんだ。
Yeah, that's never good, rushing things like this.
ええ。家内も自分の都合が私の仕事に触ることを嫌いますから。
すまん。ありがとう。それから、川崎くん、佐伯くん、君たちの応援には、
What was that? I didn't want to take a business trip when my wife was about to give birth. Even if I was a little busy, as long as I was in Tokyo, I could head to the hospital right away. On assignment, though, that would be difficult. Even so, I knew the work I was doing was important and fully understood that I was in no position to be selfish. To be so selfish. I don't think wanting to be with your wife when she's about to give birth instead of going on a remote job somewhere else in rural ass Japan, like, I don't think that's like being selfish at all. Like, obviously it's a different culture, different time period as well, but damn, man, like saying, yo, I can't, my wife's gonna give birth, like, I think that's perfectly reasonable, unless they're really, really short staffed. Maybe, and that's a big maybe, and in that case, that's their fault. They need to hire more people. That's not his fault. I'd have to make it up to my wife for having to be away on such an important time. My wife, Yuki, would probably forgive me with a smile. The only thing she could hate doing would be holding me back. My male ego, though, at least wished she would have tried to stop me. Sorry, Yuki. I don't mind if you always complain to our child that their father couldn't come to the hospital when they were born because they were too busy with work. Okay, so that's how we're gonna spend with Hinamizawa, is with through the lens of this guy. I think we saw him a little bit in the opening, but I'm curious, yeah, because we didn't really hear about this guy at all. Like, so to have this guy just walk in and be like our point of view is interesting. The next day, I took a bullet train to Nagoya, and from there, I transferred to the train to the XX Prefecture. Getting to my destination by land took several hours. If I were to travel by air in this amount of time, I could probably get as far as Hong Kong. XX Prefecture was by no means close. Okay, so it's not even close to Tokyo, it's like pretty far. I never sat in the first class except for work, but whenever I did, the seats seemed stiff. Closing my eyes, I mentally reviewed the documents I read yesterday. The group under investigation, the Onigafuchi Guardians, they were a group of residents opposed to the development proposed under the Hinamizawa Dam project. The local protests were quite heated, and were getting more radicalized. Even limited to what was written in the newspaper, there was a bloodshed that occurred during the clash with riot police interference with the dam's construction, too many to count. The number of petitions, sit-ins, and direct appeals to the relevant organizations were immeasurable. As an extension of that, there was a direct appeal to the Minister of Construction the other day.
これがそもそも今回この団体を調査することになったゆえんだ。
The land that they lived on was going to be submerged, so it was no wonder they would go into a frenzy over it. Even given that, though, could they really be capable of doing something like kidnapping the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to halt the project? Question mark. From my take on it, I had serious doubts. This kidnapping plot was extremely sophisticated and complicated enough that it would believe it was believed there was some political backing. Oh wow. This was something that could be pulled off by some group of local protesters. This wasn't something that could be pulled off by a group of local protesters. Well, just like the chief said, the plan was to eliminate all possibilities. While I'm in the XX police reference room taking my time investigating, the higher-ups in Tokyo would probably solve the case without my involvement entirely. Even if that was true, I couldn't regret being away from Tokyo while my wife was ready to give birth. This was work. There was really nothing I could do. Ding dong, bing bong. The announcement that we have arrived at our destination soon snapped me back into wakefulness. Gogura, I guess Prefectural Police Division.
地元ではかなり賑わせているようです。
The Prefectural Police Safety Department already had a document and a cup of tea ready and waiting for
早い
me.
話がダム反対の住民運動なんですが、事実上水没地域の住民すべてが決起したと言っていいでしょうね。
Probably better to say that every resident living in the mainland that's going to be submerged.
死守なんて古風な言い方が示す通り、相当の決意と覚悟を持った連中です。そこら辺の温和な住民団体とは一線を画すと思っていただいた方がいいですね。
The stack of papers they had prepared for me in the document room was by no means thin.
発足当初はごくごく平均的な住民運動だったんです。それがいつだかの流血事件を境に急にヒートアップしまして。今では暴力主義団体かそれに準じるくらいの過激な勢力に成長したと言えますね。
Violent organizations usually indicate one of the enforce their own ideology without regards to the democratic process. Breaking that down, many of the organizations held extreme left revolutionary ideology. Considering that, I couldn't help but be surprised that the citizen group would end up going this far. Radical citizens movements happen occasionally. It seems, however, that this group was nothing as trifling as that. It seemed that I would have to reconsider exactly what the Onigafuchi Guardians was.
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟が要求。つまりダム計画の撤回を求めるために行いうる活動範囲はどの程度でしょうか。
The kidnapping of the minister's grandson was classified. That meant, of course, I couldn't tell the XX prefectural department about it either. So I'm guessing the kid kidnapped at the beginning was the son. Sorry, grandson. Of course, I couldn't tell the XX prefectural department about it
ご
either.
存知の通り、先週あった犬飼建設大臣への直訴事件では逮捕者も出ています。危険性は十分
Inukai, yeah,
ですね。
Inukai. They were like, "Hey, are you Inukai?" I forgot what the other name was for like the kid. There's enough reason to believe that they could use illegal means to assert their demands. I skimmed over the list of the criminal recording related to the Onigafuchi Guardians recorded in the documents. The contents were all violent, not giving me a barest hint of feeling that these people were trying to uphold the
具
law.
体的に教えていただけますか。
The chief opened up a manila envelope, fishing out several unorganized sheets and spreading them out on the desk.
建設現場への襲撃事件が最も多かったですね。初期の頃、電源コードの切断や錠前の鍵穴に石を詰める、投石による事務所の窓ガラス割り等の軽犯罪が頻発していました。
cutting power cords, jamming logs, and breaking office windows by throwing rocks. Of course, what really happened first were things like, were things like, where's it? However, then the demonstrators, then the police. Oh, wait. Demonstrations, sit-ins, distribution of pamphlets, lively but democratic forms of protest. However, then the demonstrators and police clashed, which started a riot leading to numerous injuries and arrests. It was from then that the Onigafuchi Guardians, like their names implied, began to take a more demonic form of resistance. Right, Onigafuchi, yeah.
地元警察による警備強化がなされるのでは。
そら警戒はしたでしょうね。でもあちらは地元ですから。闇に乗じて忍び込まれたらお手上げでしょう。
You might be labeled, you might as well label the entire map of Hinamizawa village around the dam construction site enemy territory. No matter how alert the police were, the locals would just show them exactly how easy it was to sneak around.
警察が警備を固めてからは、むしろ挑発されたように過激化が進みました。ほら、この辺りから
事務所の放火。
An office set fire.
建設重機の破壊工作。破壊？まさか爆弾でも？
いや、まさか。連中ですね。タンクに角砂糖を放り込むんですよ。あれやられたらエンジン焦げついちゃいますから。
Even in Japan, it seemed there had been people doing that to the vehicles of occupying forces right after the war. Compared to misdemeanors like breaking windows, it was extremely violent and aggressive.
そこまでやられたら、地元警察の面目は丸つぶれですね。
放火はさすがにですね。それで地元警察が24時間体制の人員を大幅に増員しまして、それで建設現場への襲撃は一段落したようです。
He used the word quiet it down, but that was still smack dab in the middle of a list of crimes.
連中ですね。現場への直接攻撃が難しくなったとしたら、今度は個人攻撃に切り替えました。最初に狙われたのが工事事務所の現場作業者でした。
Holy shit. She fucked. Oh, wait, is that why they left that construction site empty in like the fucking village? It's like, why is there just a bunch of construction shit here? Oh, because we fucking like scared them all off. Yeah, guerrilla warfare. That's what it seems like, the way this is all being described. After the silence, but it was guerrillas were a war fought in the jungle. Threats and violence against the workers. Harsh words and harsher rocks were thrown. Yeah. Fuck you! On some like fucking Stephen King's It type of thing, like where they just throw rocks at each other. I'll never understand it. Did kids actually throw rocks at each other? Because goddamn, people say kids are stupid now. That was fucking stupid. There's quite a list of accusations here, but there's not a whole lot of conviction. Yeah, there's no one there to like validate this.
アリバイがポンポンポンとできちゃうんです。
Yeah, they're all like, nah, he didn't do it. He was over here, man. He was fixing my car, man. Come on. What are you doing? That wasn't him.
それはどういうことですか?
What do you mean, what do I mean? They're not gonna sell out their own people.
例えばですね、あなたがひなみ沢で歩いていて、ある男にナイフで刺されたとします。あなたは相手をよく覚えていて、ただしナイフには指紋がなく、物的証拠だけが、まあありがちな傷害事件だと思うでしょ。でもひなみ沢じゃ完全犯罪なんです。
Everyone is. The entire village. They're all in on it. To protect the man who was the perpetrator, they'll get their story straight and prepare an alibi. To that end, they'll probably even forge some
裁
evidence.
判にもつれ込ますほかないわけですが、何しろ物的証拠はない上、犯人を隠匿する証言だけは後から増えていく。検察も書類送検には二の足を踏むわけです。
That's it. Yeah. That was always the very interesting thing about Hinamizawa. It's just like how everyone was in on it. Everyone knew. Everyone helped. You know.
殺人ならいざ知らず、透析で額を切った、殴られてあざができた程度だと、仮に犯人を特定できたとしても、嫌疑不十分で送検されないことがほとんどです。
Every case is without doubt perpetrated by someone in Hinamizawa, but they can't identify who. Even if they could figure out who it is, they're unable to obtain enough circumstantial evidence through due process. The villagers were all extremely well informed about this, and so the malicious, vicious, and tenacious personal attacks continued.
被害者はそれでは納得できないでしょう。
The victim can't have been okay with
検察審査会に再審請求を出さない。
それはですね、審査員たちがみんな厄介ごとに巻き込まれたくないと思っているからですよ。ひなみ沢関係のトラブルには首を突っ込みたがらないんです。
The inquest committee is comprised of a random selection of local residents. In the event of the prosecutor fails to get a conviction, they have the power to order a retrial. It's a system designed to assert the will of the people on the actions of experts prosecutors in the legal world. In this case, however, being composed of local residents has backfired.
それはなぜです？
なんて説明すればいいんでしょう。
How do I explain this?
恐れられているって言えばいいのかな。あそこはね、少し特殊なんで。
特殊？何か政治的なバックボーンが存在するということですか？
いえ、そういうのとは少し違うというか、まあ怖がられていると思ってください。この辺りは口では少し説明しにくいんです。ああ、そうだ。わかりやすいのがありました。
Wiping his forehead with a handkerchief, he opened a file labeled as a list of members of the Onigafuchi Guardians.
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟の勢力にはですね、近隣の町々に強い影響力を持つ人間が多々おりまして、この辺をご覧いただけますか。
What I saw startled me. Prefectural and municipal assembly members, staff members of the Chamber of Commerce, an executive of the Business Association, an executive of a town council association, and a PTA liaison. There were more than a few people with a lot of say both locally and in the neighboring regions.
この界隈では、ひなみ沢のダム反対運動は皆静観しているのが普通なんです。ダムを肯定するような発言をすると、どこでどう巡って不利益を被る。何しろ近隣の町の喉元はひなみ沢出身の人間が抑えていますからね。
検
Holy
察審査
shit.
員のリストは非公開でしょう。報復がされないように何らかの措置が取られているはずでは。
一応非公開でプライバシーは守られてますがね。それを管理してるのは沖宮市役所の人間、つまり地元の人間なんです。
A local.
守秘義務があるとはいえ、やはり人間のつながりは分かりませんからね。hinamizawaの人間はそのあたりのつながりがことのほか強固ですから。
When you consider the obligation and duties people have to the region, the web of information thereby formed is nothing to scoff at. It's not uncommon for housewives in the neighborhood to know which kid from which house is what grade in which school, the subjects they're good at, and what vegetables they hate, among other things.
それにほら、hinamizawaと遅延の深い暴力団組織がありましてね。これが今回の騒動に全面バックアップしてるらしいんです。こちらが出てくるのが一番効いてるみたいですね。
暴力団
Gangsters. Gangster?
ダムの建設反対で住民と一致。
Siding together with the residents opposing the construction of the dam.
どういう利害が一致するのか読みがたいですね。
Yeah, that is curious. Why are they helping them?
それは難しいことじゃないです。
Oh? Oh, fuck. That's kind of interesting. Okay, wait, hold on. I accidentally pressed a button, like a shortcut button, but here, hold on. Which one's... It's this one. Okay. A little hard to see what their common interest is. It's not that difficult at all.
この暴力団の組長がですね、hinamizawa村の出身なん
Oh
です。
shit, so it's just like...
村の重鎮の一人の婿養子に
what's it called? He was adopted into a rather influential family in the village. Exactly what was this Hinamizawa? I had thought it was some desolate, rustic village. However, for some reason, they exerted a strong influence on the surrounding areas and had a strong sense of unity. They would protect their village by any means necessary, even if that meant resorting to violence. The chief had said that they were afraid because there were numerous influential people living there, but somehow I got the feeling that they were afraid of the village itself. There was something certainly different from what I had read in the documents in Tokyo. This was no simple residential protest against the dam. For some reason, an uneasy feeling began to nestle inside the back of my head, in the back of my mind. I chose the most basic way to ask my question. In other words, I directly asked what I wanted to know.
室長、これは例えば仮の話ですが。
はい。
例えば、その鬼ヶ淵主導名がダム計画を頓挫させるため、要人を脅迫するようなことは考えられますか？
The chief replied immediately.
あり得るでしょう。事実、彼らは市役所や県庁、建設省の工事事務所にも押しかけ、恫喝まがいのことをしていますし、工事関係者の家族が不審者につけ回されたという事件も起こっています。
Oh, wow. Well, that would make sense. To halt progress of the dam, they'd raided the construction site, destroying heavy machinery and lighting the construction office on fire. If they didn't have any qualms about doing that, threats and violence against people related to the dam would probably be no problem. Now that I think about this, I just thought about this. Because I guess the whole like dam project, it's a very important thing in the story pretty much throughout the story, I guess. But I guess it just exits your mind when you're intimately there with Keiichi, like you know, having his essentially his world ruined with the stuff that happens with his friends. That you sometimes forget about this, which is why I like I'm wondering how people felt when the previous chapter ended and Hinamizawa was essentially just wiped off the map. Like everyone just died there. Like they all just died. And people who did survive pretty much just committed suicide right after, and they just left this earth too. How would the people in the outside feel about that? Like the people who are being threatened in these situations by the people who trying to stop the dam project, the government funding the dam project, you know, like how are they all gonna feel about this? Are they gonna be like, well, good riddance, they're gone. Those people were evil. They were just horrible. They did a lot because they did kill someone for the sake of the dam project being stopped. They did murder a man, and from what we know, at least the guy was not like evil. Like, you know, the man that they killed, he wasn't like an evil man. He was just some guy who worked there, and then they killed him. They killed that guy. So it's like, I wonder how like the people outside the village, how would they feel about this? Are they just okay with these guys just like this just town just dying out because it did something like horrible to them essentially? Kind of curious, kind of want to know, you know, would love to know how everyone felt about that. I kind of want to switch the music too up. I heard that music, it sounded kind of interesting, but I'm just gonna keep it like this. I think it's just, I guess it's important to have it like as authentic to the original as possible, even though I do have the other sprites on. Well, actually, I guess we haven't gotten any sprites yet. I don't know if this guy's gonna get a sprite if he's like important enough or whatever, but yeah, we'll see. To halt progress on the dam, they raided yeah, okay, but that was it. Even your everyday hoodlum could use threats and violence. However, this time it was a kidnapping of the minister's grandson, an abnormally high-level crime. Not only was putting off the kidnapping difficult in the first place, but so was a maneuvering to have the minister surrender to their demands immediately. There was no way this was the work of amateurs. Did these people have the power to enact this large of a crime? That was the heart of the matter. Was the Onikafuchi Guardians an organization capable of pulling this off? In order to ask that question once again, I chose the most basic method.
例えば、政府要人の関係者を誘拐して脅迫。
There was no
なんて
way.
ことが
Oh,
あり得ると思いますか?
there was no way they could pull off something that big. That was the answer I most hoped for. It was the answer my work was as good as halfway done. I might be able to get back in time for my wife to give birth. That was how it was supposed to be. The chief, without a hint of hesitation, replied,
やるかもしれません。そこの知れない連中ですから。
Okay, well, hey, listen, I appreciate direct answers. Just tell me the truth. Is this gonna be okay? No? Okay, it's good. I'm glad I know. I'm glad I know. Where's the news? Sorry. That's funny. Yeah, sorry. I was looking at something here. Just checking something. Sorry about that. But it's funny, like, I went to go look here for something, and then, like, I look up and it's like, oh, sorry, Yuki. Yeah, it's not gonna work out, buddy. I'm sorry. You're not gonna be able to see your wife give birth or be there for her. It seemed like my work wouldn't end so simply after all.
おう、赤坂君か。ご苦労さん。担当地域での情報収集はどうですか？
順調です。これから現地警察の公安と接触できることになりましたので、現地へ向かう東京の調査の方はどうですか？
他の職員も順調に調査を進めているよ。でも調べる団体が星の数だからね。そんなに悠長に時間もかけられないし。
There was no new development this time. No matter how suspicious the Onigafuchi Guardians was, if they solved the case in Tokyo, my job was done. It looked like my wishful thinking wouldn't come to pass. Hanging up the phone, I let my gaze drift outside the window to the valley of unfamiliar
赤
buildings.
坂さん、今お貸しできる車が戻ってきました。ご案内しますので、こちらへどうぞ。
あ、すみません。
He showed me the elevator to the underground parking lot where a battered sedan was waiting for me. That was the steering wheel kept drifting to the left. Was a little concerning, but it wouldn't be enough to get me. It would be enough to get me around for a while. My destination was Shishibone City, XX Prefecture, the area under the control of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The Okinomiya police station was right on the border front lines. Okay. Alright, so this is an interesting setup. I did not expect this at all. I'm not gonna lie, a part of me thought that we were just gonna get like a slice of life sort of thing. Like just like simple little pranks and jokes or whatever with the gang to like butter us up for the answers. Okinomiya XX Prefecture. I didn't think it was gonna be this elaborate. Like it was gonna take us back in time like this. Shishibone City was was as far as provincial cities went, rather behind the times. Okinomiya recessed in the mountains was even more remote. With little change between seasons, all that was left was a tepid passage of time. It made for a rather drab town. There was no tourist attraction or local delicacies. Without even a strong regional industry, it was simply dull. Just looking at the monumentous and peaceful townscape, it was hard to catch a glimpse of the radical resistance of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The atmosphere of boredom didn't hint of the Okinomiya police station being at the front lines of the damned conflict, nor of the numerous incidents that I heard about at the prefectural headquarters. Good morning. Hello.
いえ、公安部の本田屋さんにアポイントがあります。赤坂とお伝えください。
失礼しました。少々お待ちください。
Do I look like I miss my fines, motherfucker? I don't miss my fines. The clerk, who thought I was here for a parking violation at first glance, after fumbling with an unfamiliar extension number, told the person on the line they had a visitor. Is it Oyoshi? Yeah, there we go. It's that fucking guy. Oh my god.
赤坂さんでいらっしゃいますか？縁のはるばるお疲れ様でした。こんな部屋で申し訳ありませんね。応接室を押さえてあったんですがね。議員さんが突然お越しになっちゃったんで追い出されちゃいまして。
Wario. I would hesitate to call where we were a conference room, as it was very small and cluttered. The cramped space was packed with lockers. I had the impression that it was more of a change room that doubled as one for smoking. Listening to the crude Charlotte chortles, I didn't get much of a feeling that Hondaya, who was head of the local police safety division, was much of an intellectual. God damn. Yo, these people are stupid, bro. These are just dumb people living in a rural area. God damn, man. But I knew that in exchange, we both he had both experience and absolute confidence in his
ご多忙
instincts.
中、突然お邪魔して申し訳ありませんでした。警視庁から参りました。赤坂と申します。
Akasaka.
よろしくお願いします。
公安部の本田屋です。
Hondaya.
よろしくよろしく。
Hello.
県警防隊の3階部長から協力を惜しむなと脅されておりますので。
暴隊県警の
Gangbusters.
暴力団対策本部ですか？
Yeah,
うち
you're all a
じゃ
bunch of
鬼
thugs.
ヶ淵支所の連中は暴力団の延長に位置づけてますんでね。
You see, we're threatening the...
あれを善意の住民運動だなんてあんた、東城もいいとこですわ。
So even the local police, they always kind of just felt that they were like pretty much like a group of thugs. Essentially, they're like, yeah, no, they're just a bunch of gang members. That's how we're treating them. That's what they are to us. That's how we're treating them. Okay. Interesting. They said the prefectural office too that the Onigafuchi Guardians was linked to a local mob. Ugh. If I recall correctly, the adopted son of somebody influential was a lieutenant in the
それ
gang.
逆。全然逆ですよ。暴力団の活動があって、それに住民団体が大義名分みたいにくっついていると、そういう風に考えてください。逆。
Hyundai was just about rolling with laughter. This was slightly different than the info given to me at the prefectural office, but somebody embedded locally would be more knowledgeable. While we were talking, occasionally some people who seemed to be detectives would come in and change. One of those individuals noticed Hyundai Guffaws came up to us. Is it Oishi? Yeah, there we go. Yo, motherfucker, it's been 7 years. You look the same, brother. Like, holy shit. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but you don't age, brother. Like, holy shit. I will say this. I mean, I think it might just be like they don't want to make another sprite for him. You know, like, which I get that, but it's like funny. He literally does not look any different. This is a new song. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I don't think we heard this song before. The hell? I was wondering what you guys were talking about. And there he has a stupid laugh. Oh my god, I hate this guy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, after the last part, I really grew to, oh god. I really grew to hate this guy. Like, this guy's a fucking jerk, man. Like, the way he treated Keiichi, like, in that last part, like, that shit really pissed me off, man. Like, so I don't know, like, he has to have, like, some sort of good explanation of why he acted that way. Like, we gotta figure that out.
Oh, Kura-chan! ちょうどよかった。Kura-chanも入ってよ。
Kura-chan? That's
こち
interesting.
ら、はるばる東京の警視庁からお見えになった赤坂警部。
警部だなんて。まだまだ新米です。
Still a
赤坂
rookie.
です。よろしくお願いします。
初々しいのがいいですね。採用は今年ですか？
I couldn't help but think I was being ridiculed, so I only responded with a forced smile. Yeah, I don't deal well with people like Oishi. I like in real life, I don't deal well with people like that. I find them very unpleasant. So I would probably just nervously laugh too. Sorry, just turning on the lights. It's getting dark in here. I could tell that this new person was like Honda, the type who had confidence in their instincts and experience. I really don't like this. Oh my god, is this guy me? Like, why is this guy talking like me? Like, this is the second time this has happened. Like, oh my god, bro. What the fuck is this game, man? That's literally the second time that's happened. I could tell that, oh yeah.
赤坂さんにもご紹介します。こちらは刑事部の大石くん。赤坂さんがお問い合わせの S5 の件なら彼が詳しいです。
S5？
園崎の S。S5 ってのはですね、園崎家が関連している件を示す、まあ、暗号みたいなもんなんです。
Sonozaki? Come to think of it, I remember when I was poring over the documents at the headquarters, there was quite a few people with the last name Sonozaki popping up.
確か、園崎氏は鬼ヶ淵死守同盟の役員でしたね。確か会計だったと思います。
The two of them were surprised when I rattled off what post the Sonozaki held. After a moment, both of them erupted into laughter.
赤坂さんでしたっけ？あなた、お勉強家さんですね。ひょっとして同盟の連中の主要人物全部暗記してるんじゃ？
暗記というほどではありませんが、一応鬼ヶ淵死守同盟の幹部リストは一読しました。
じゃあ会長と副会長は？
会長は現hinamizawa村村長の君吉喜一郎氏。
Kimiyoshi, yeah, yeah.
副会長は町会神社部長の古出氏。会計が園崎を領して、会計監査は牧野氏。教頭部長が君吉義郎氏。広報部長が園崎貞夫氏。
Sadao Sonozaki.
赤坂さん、あなたなかなか給料安いけど、うちに来ません？うちに一番必要で。で、ちなみに園崎貞夫は青年部長なんです。惜しいですね。広報部長は園崎忠孝。
Feeling like I wasn't being complimented at all, I started settling into an uncomfortable mood. However, I became more and more aware that I was the weakest link in this investigation, so I just had to bear with it. I didn't mean for the feeling to show up on my face, but the crafty detectives didn't let that slip by.
バカにしたつもりはないんです。お詫びと言っちゃなんですが、なんでしたら村を実際にご案内しましょう。
For someone with no feel for the area like me, it would be a great help. I couldn't have asked for more.
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟ってのは、結局hinamizawa村の対外的な別称に過ぎません。村を知ることがあなたのお仕事の近道だといかがです？
The residential movement, in other words, held influence over the whole region. So the leader of the movement was the leader of that influence. Just like that, the thought process in the region would become the overall personality of the movement. Just like Oishi had said, in order to learn what they were really like, this regional force behind the damn protest, getting to know the village was the quickest way.
よろしくお願いします。
Nodding back without skipping a beat, Orochi laughed in satisfaction and stood up. This guy's always laughing, bro. I took the information I learned at the prefectural office and from Hyundai to heart. Ooh, that was a big ass sneeze, man. Yo, you're lucky I muted the mic. That was a big ass sneeze. To heart. If my position was exposed, my personal safety was at risk. Oh, whoops. The opponent was an extremist group that had no qualms about using their threats or violence against somebody. If my personal info was leaked, it would be hard to imagine that I'd be in danger, whether on the job or not. Thinking that, I felt a little nervous.
私と一緒にいるところを見られると多分いろいろあなた月並みですがねこいつを身につけておいてください
Oshi handed me an incredibly suspicious disguise comprised of a baseball cap, sunglasses, and a mask. I didn't want to get all hot and stuffy, but Oshi warnings was probably right on the money. Considering that, I put them on with appreciation. I looked so suspicious that Oshi had to smile weirdly. Classic. And I think that's like a running joke in like a lot of things. I've seen that, like I've seen multiple animes like make fun of that, like the mask, the sunglasses, and the baseball cap. How much did I tell you again?
御三家という旧家が村を支配しているというところまでです。
The Onigafushi Guardians was the same as the village of Hinamizawa itself, meaning there was a direct correlation between being an executive in the alliance and being a leader in the village. As Hyundai had told me a short time ago, if the village was ruled by three ancient families, then it would mean that Onigafushi Guardians was ruled by those same three families. The documents I was using were classified. If I responded to Aoshi's question, it would be a breach of security. However, most likely, the man I judged was more well-versed in the situation than any of the documents at the prefectural police department, so I decided to answer him.
同盟の会長は現村長の君吉喜一郎と
Kichiro Kimiyoshi. Aoshi, upon hearing that, let out a small chuckle. For him to ask like that and to laugh at the answer as it was recorded in the documents, it meant that wasn't the case in reality.
君吉氏以外の影の人物がいる。県警の持つ、いや、一般的な情報とは異なり。
君吉のじいさんなんてただのお飾りですよ。そもそもこの村じゃ村長なんてポスト自体も形式だけなんです。
つまり同盟も村も本当の意味で支配している別の、それが先ほどおっしゃられていた御三家という存在。
まあそのあたりはこれからご説明します。
All of a sudden, with a thunk, the car suddenly lurched. The paved road had given way to a gravel one. At the same time, the scenery outside the window changed. The Hinamizawa Dam project must be withdrawing. Overthrew the shameless puppets of the governor. The dam will submerge the natural beauty of Hinamizawa. Protect the village from the unethical dam. Fear the wrath of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Demolish the dam. Those involved must go away. The constructions office must respond. The constructions office manager must negotiate with us. Signs and banners crowded the roadside. Even reading the brush-scrawled words was daunting. It was as though the road just changed as the border with a different country. At that moment, I was startled by the car's sudden brake. Looking ahead, a barricade had been erected. About 5 or 6 protesters wearing masks, helmets to hide their faces were blocking the road, yelling at us angrily to stop.
これは何ですか？検問？
はあ、懲りない連中だな。おいおいおい、あんたらダメだよ、こんなとこで道を塞いじゃ。
So she glared at them with a malicious laugh. They visibly
道
faltered.
開けてくださいな。それじゃ通れないでしょう。
God, I hate his fucking laugh, bro. It's so annoying at this point. Who would have thought it was Oyoshi's car? The panic thought seemed to make them lose their presence of mind.
大石刑事の車と分かってればこんなご無礼はしなかったんですがね。大石刑事、いつもの車はどうされ、車検ですか？
そんなところです。台車ってのはどうにも馴染みませんね。
Judging by the brief conversation, I could guess that they were familiar with the license plate of Oyoshi's car normally used. In other words, if they had known the car belonged to the police, they would have hidden the barricade. What they were doing was obviously obstruction of traffic, a blatant crime.
そっちの怪しい男は誰です？あんた、顔を見せてくれませんか？
The man glared at me menacingly. Wearing a mask and sunglasses made me look particularly dubious. Would not showing my face get me into some unnecessary trouble? I turned to Oishi to see what I should do.
彼の顔は勘弁してあげて。まだまだ新米でシャイなんですからね。
不審な輩じゃないか確認しようってだけです。最近のひなみさんは物騒ですからね。
ね。あんたのうち鏡歪んでるのと違います。あんたのその面の方がよっぽど不審ですよ。な。
The man and Oishi continued to talk like that, feigning smiles at one another. However, from the beginning to the end, I couldn't get over the feeling I was sitting on a powder keg.
不法投棄車両まだ減らないんですか？
Powder keg. Has the number of trucks... Oh, wait.
たちも本当に朝晩大変ですね。
警察の方にもご理解とご協力をいただけて助かりますよ。
During the conversation, the barricade was moved, leaving a gap wide enough for a single car to get through. Oishi lightly honked the horn once and began to roll the car forward. I could see the man antagonistic glare at the back of the car in the rearview mirror.
何ですかさっきのは。勝手に行動を封鎖するなんて。
もちろん犯罪目くじら立てても始まりませんがね。連中の主張じゃですね、村内に不法投棄をするトラックが出没するって言うんです。それを封じ込めるために不審車両を検問してるって話だそうで。
不法投棄？参拝を勝手に捨てようとする悪徳業者のことですか？
警察が何の手も打たないから自分たちで自衛するっていう論法でしたね。まあ参拝なんて話はどうせ自演だからどうでもいいんですがね。
自演？
連中うまい作戦なんですよ。ダム現場にですね、工事妨害のために参拝ゴミを自分たちでばらまいて、でそれを悪徳業者のせいってことにして臨検を設置すると。それで工事車両をいちいち足止めしてチクチクと妨害してるってわけなんです。
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟の抵抗運動の一つというわけですね。
多分今の検問でこの車のナンバーが割れましたからね。もうこの先には一切検問の真似事はない。連中も私を怒らせると得をしないことだけはね。この車が工事関係車両だと知れるとですね、散々検問で足止めを食らうばかりか、投石や鉄釘のばらまきなんかも食らうって噂です。 あなたも身元が割れないようにせいぜい気をつけた。公安なんてバレたらどんな目に遭うやら。
Jeez, that's not good. Well, she was acting like there was talking about something fun, but for me, it was no laughing matter.
どこぞの内戦の国に迷い込んだような錯覚です。
あんた、そりゃうまい言い方です。今言われたのはまさにその通り。
Oh, she turned to me with a grin and menacing laugh.
ここはね、戦争地帯なんですよ。
The car slowed down a bit as it went down the narrow road through some farmland.
あそこの森の中に家があるのが見えます？古い感じの。
Looking over where she was pointing, there certainly was an old traditionally designed
あれ
house.
が村長の君吉のじいさんの家です。君吉本家とも言いますな。分家筋が多いですから、御三家の一つにあたります。
御三家。Hinamizawa村を支配している旧家ですね。
そうそう。で、もう一つが古出家。こっちは分家どころか、もう神主一家しか残ってませんがね。ちょうどあっちの方にね、神社がありまして、そこの神主をしています。ちなみにね、死守同盟の事務所はその神社の敷地内にあります。
The office of the Onigofuchi Guardians. If these guys were enemies, that would make the shrine their
そこを
stronghold.
見ることはできますか？
神社は古出家の私有地でね、警察といえど令状がないと踏み込めません。電柱のバックには村の息のかかった議員もいますからね。警察にも強いところと弱いところがある。御三家とは言ってもですね、そりゃあだいぶ大昔のことなんだそうです。大昔はその御三家ってのが合議して村のいろいろなことを決めてたらしいですな。
ということは、今は違うということですね。
あんた、いちいち察しがいいですね。さすが高学歴。
The car braked. The car braked to a halt with a squeal. Ahead of where we were stopping were several signs. Private property beyond no trespassing. Beware of poisonous snakes. Danger, turn back. Intruders will be charged an entry fee of what? 1,000,000 yen? Like, what the fuck? Signs were erected where there with things like that written on them. Is this the same place where like the torture chamber was? That's where Mion's torture chamber is, no? If I remember correctly. The road was separated from the forest by a chain link fence wrapped in barbed wire.
私有地なんで、ここまでです。この先は監視カメラがいくつも仕掛けられてます。うっかり道に迷いました。なんて論法が通じる相手じゃありません。
この先が、そうなんですね。
The people currently controlling Hinamizawa and the Onigofuchi Guardians were neither the Kimiyoshi family nor the Furude family, but the last one of the three.
この先にあるのが御三家の一つ、園崎家。Hinamizawa村を影から支配する連中です。
Amongst the list of executive recordings in the documents, the number of people with the last name from the three families were quite high. Of course, Sonozaki was no exception. However, at the top was the Kimiyoshi family. If the Kimiyoshi family seemed to be in charge, the ruler behind the scenes were the Sonozaki family. This double-layered structure implicitly told me that the village had both a light and dark side.
園崎家の頂点は現当主の園崎お涼っていうばあさんです。
Old Lady Uryu.
園崎天皇なんて呼ばれるくらいにその発言には影響力があるそうです。
Empress
気をつけてくださ
Sonozaki.
いよ。大市長だって最敬礼でお迎えするような VIP ですからね。まあ、Hinamizawaと周辺の町に住む村の親族の数千の評伝を固めてるわけですから、政治家は頭 上がらないんでしょうが。
つまり、その人物が鬼が。
そうなります。
With those words, Oishi pulled out a well-worn cigarette box. The suspected kidnapping of the minister's grandchild, and subsequent threats. Were these parts of the hidden plot by the Onigafuchi Guardians in order to have the Hinamizawa Dam project cancelled?
あなた、東京からはるばる調べにいらしたんですよね。
ええ、そうですか。何か。
Something the matter?
じゃあほら、あれだ。犬飼大臣への直訴事件の絡みですかな。要するに、あれで要注意団体ってことで公安がマークすることになったと。そういう感じですか。
大石さんこそ、お察しが早くて助かります。
While exhaling out cigarette smoke, Goichi smiled broadly like I just pulled a good one on him. Or so I thought. He smiled, disappeared suddenly.
嘘でしょ。だから、直訴事件でマークがついたっての、嘘でしょ。
Oishi knew that there was no way the Tokyo HQ would dispatch an investigator over something as minor as a direct appeal. If they were to dispatch someone, it had to be for a more dire reason. He had figured out as much. I thought of myself as the type of person who doesn't let things show on their face. In front of his watchful gaze, however, I felt that was what I was thinking was completely laid bare. Oishi slightly lit another cigarette, as if waiting for me to interject during this awkward pause. I see. So this was a veteran detective way of getting someone to spill information. But as long as I realized this, there would be nothing more. If I didn't open my mouth, I wouldn't have to lose anything. All I had to do was stare out this window and enjoy the scenery until Oishi gave up. just say fuck it. You didn't hear anything from me, bitch. Nope, not from me.
あなたって人は本当に隠し事が下手な人ですね。そういう素直で初々しいの悪くないな。
God damn, what is up with his voice? Holy shit. Oishi smirked as he twisted out his third cigarette, while I tried not to let him notice that I had yielded completely. At first I thought I had won, but at the very least Oishi had a certain that I was hiding something, meaning that I might have ended up marching towards his tune. Oishi started up the engine once again and began to move the car.
素直なところを教えてくれりゃ、もっとお力になれると思ったんですがね。
素直に話したら、どう力になれるんです？
If the cat's out of the bag, I might as well use it to catch some mice.
内容によりけりですがね。南沢界隈に詳しい情報屋に引き合わせてあげてもいいですよ。
協力員。
そっか。
どうして私の任務に興味を？大石さん。
そりゃあんたと同じ。常に知るのが私たちの仕事じゃありませんか。
Being able to meet Oishi's informant was an extremely compelling opportunity. We were looking to recruit somebody familiar with the area to collaborate with for intelligence. In the end, there was no better method for finding people than asking. We were always taught, however, that the rank and file police were no better than monkeys. Unlike us, they were careless with confidential cases. We looked down on them like they were running their mouth off in the drunken stupor. Oishi was an outlaw even amongst them, and here I was lost on whether or not I should tell him about the kidnapping of the minister's grandson.
その情報協力員はどの程度鬼ヶ淵死守同盟に精通を？
あんたも公安の人間ならわかるでしょう。そんなの私の口からたとえあなたにだって話せるわけないじゃありませんか。
Protect your sources. That was the first principle of dealing with confidential information. In that regard, it seems that Orochi wasn't one of those monkeys. Should I trust him, ask for his help, or
あな
not?
たは国、私は金に雇われてますがね。私たちの職務はそう大きくは違わ力になれると思うんですがね。
However, I had trouble believing that this crafty old man would simply help me just like he claimed. Now how should I go about this?
大石さんほどの方が無償で力になってくださるとはちょっと思いがたいです。
そりゃ下心がないわけじゃないです。あんたらは確か協力員に支払える謝礼用の予算を持ってますよね。領収書不要な予算を。そいつでですね、情報屋との接触にかかるコストをちょいと。
つまり情報屋と渡りをつける謝礼をあなたにお支払いしろということだ。取引内容が明快で助かります。
He certainly was something else for being able to brazenly state his ulterior motives like this. Rather than him doing this out of the kindness of his heart, everything was a lot clearer if he was being compensated for this deal. I felt that he was the type of man who was good at these backroom
誤解
dealings.
しないでくださいよ。お金が必要なのは私にじゃなくて情報屋になんですからね。まあ支払いの関係上お金は私が預かりますがね。
支払いはいつ？
今すぐがいいですね。ないなら明日でもいいんですよ。
I pulled out a wallet that was different from my personal one. The price was pretty much fixed depending on what kind of information I was paying for. In this case, the payment was upfront. Also considering the fact that I don't know what kind of info I would get, I shouldn't pay too much. When I suggested that, Oishi suddenly stretched out his hand and tightly grasped the content of my
こういう
wallet.
時はですね、ケチケチしない方がいいんです。大丈夫大丈夫、損はさせませんから。
Yo, fuck you! I hate this guy.
ケチケチしないことにします。
で、調べたい情報は何です？内容によって多少アプローチが変わることもありますので。
他言無用を誓ってもらえますか？大石さん。
誓うまでもありませんよ。私もあなたたちと同じ。職務上知り得たことは他言できませんからね。わかりましたよ。誓います。ここで聞くことは他言無用です。それにあなたのおかげで溜まってたツケを全部返せるんですからね。私は少なくとも金の絡んだ約束は絶対に違います。
I was still unsure if I should trust him until the very last moment, but in the end I broke down. Oishi wasn't the type of guy that I could trust 100%, but there was no mistake in he had access to underground information networks. In order to accomplish my mission swiftly, I needed his cooperation. I set my resolve.
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟がある事件に関与しているか否かを調査しています。
ある事件？
犬飼建設大臣が何者かに脅迫を受けている可能性があります。
可能性とはまた遠回しな言い方ですね。
大臣の近辺に内通者がいるらしいのです。その内通者によって高度に監視されているらしく、大臣は脅迫初期から屈服している様子です。警察へも我々へも一切通報しています。
なるほど。だから脅迫を受けている可能性 という言い方になると。だとすると妙ですね。大臣が誰にも通報しないなら、どうしてあんたらは事件を知ったんです？
If we didn't spy on the minister's private life, we would have never
そ
found
の
out.
説明は、私が情報屋に提供する必要がないと思われるので、割愛します。
Oshi had apparently caught on and quickly chuckled and refused to explain.
なるほど。大臣の近辺にスパイがいるらしいから、公安だけの極秘調査ということになる。そりゃあ確かに穏便な話じゃないですね。
ことを公にすれば、大臣の政治生命も含め、政変に発展する可能性は極めて高いでしょう。犯人グループの目的がそこにあるならば、有識事態に発展する可能性があります。
政府の列島改造は、まあいろいろ方々との衝突も多いらしいですからね。どんなささやかなケチでも一つつけば、野党勢力がどっと票を伸ばす可能性もあると。
大臣がどのような要求を受けているのかは、現在調査中です。ですが、脅迫の方法だけは、ほぼ分かっています。
何です？
大臣の孫の誘拐です。周辺は否定していますが、最後の目撃から見て、すでに誘拐後72時間が経過して。
3日ですか。波の身代金目的ならもう決着してますね。
金銭でなく、大臣に何らかの政治的なアクションを要求している可能性が極めて高いでしょう。それを我々は黙認するわけにはいきません。
で、それの犯人グループとの可能性として。
そうです。
大臣の孫を誘拐してダム計画の撤回を求めるか。
どうでしょう、大石さん。その可能性はあなたから見てあり得ると思いますか？
Oshi seemed to ponder the idea for quite a while. The section chief at the regional office had responded immediately with, "It's possible." However, Oyoshi, who was well informed about the matter, was hemming and hawing. Finally, just a little bit. He said something that was really just a little bit strange.
明治前まではですね、この辺りはhinamizawa村って名前じゃなくて、鬼ヶ淵村って呼ばれてたそうです。うちのばあ様の受け売りですがね。
This topic was so completely sudden and unrelated to the subject of kidnapping of the minister's grandson that I was taken slightly aback.
それで鬼ヶ淵主導名という名称に。
鬼ヶ淵村ってのはですね、人食い鬼の住む村だと言われてたんだそうです。今でも村人は自分の体に鬼の血が半分流れてると信じてます。
人食い鬼。大石さん、それ何の話ですか？
情報ですよ、情報。さっきあなたからたくさんもらっちゃいましたからね。少しもらいすぎました。その分サービスしてあげてるんですよ。
Oshi finally smiled, but it didn't seem like he was fooling it around.
先を続けてください。
人食い鬼たちはですね、普段は仙人と崇められてひっそりと暮らしているんですがね。やっぱり人食いですから、定期的に麓の村に降りてきては獲物をさらっていったんだそうです。それをですね、鬼隠しと言いまして。
Demoned away. It was the first time I heard of such a peculiar phrase. However, I felt something slightly ominous from hearing this horrifying tale of demons abducting people in order to eat them.
ほら、よく世間一般に神隠しっていうのがあるじゃないですか。人がある日突然失踪してしまうとそう言うでしょ。この辺りでは同じことがあると鬼隠しって呼ぶんです。
その昔話と本件に何か関係？
いえいえ、直接的には何の関係もない。ただのただ。
Ka-thump, ka-thump. The car shook. At some point, the gravel road had changed to a paved one.
ただ、何です？
この土地に鬼隠しという名の失踪、誘拐を暗示するキーワードがあるということだけはお話ししておこうと思いまして。今回の大臣の孫の誘拐と関係あるかは分かりませんがね。まあ深い話ではないんです。そんな言われの話があるということだけでもね。
No. Onikakushi. Human-eating demons coming down to the foothill and abducting their prey. Then, in order to cancel the dam project that threatened to submerge the village they lived in, did they demon away the minister's grandson? Then, had they already made an example out of the minister's grandson and eaten him alive?
ちょっと興味深い昔話ですね。
鬼たちの村にみだりに踏み入れば、たちまち囚われ食い殺される。だから鬼が淵村には近づくな。今時の若者はこんな迷信信じませんがね。沖宮の明治生まれの年寄り連中には今でも真面目に信じてるのが多いですよ。
Hinamizawa village was feared by the people in the area. I recalled that piece of information I heard from the prefectural police safety division.
むしろこの辺は田舎ですからね。迷信なんかが平気で幅を利かせてるんです。東京から来られた赤坂さんにはちょっと想像もつかないでしょうがね。
The man-eating demons as the price for violating the sanctity of their village, kidnapping the minister's grandson and swallowing him whole. The ludicrous idea flew through my head. It was so absurd. I was half disgusted with myself. Oishi was just teasing me. Stupid. It was all really so stupid. Come to think of it, by then I may have already been seized by the curse of the dubious village. For me to realize that would take a little more time. Alright. That was a very long chapter. Holy shit, that was like 2 hours long, pretty much. Alright, do we got any hints? Oh my god, and we even got like 4 freaking hints. Holy shit. Alright, I think I'm gonna read the hints next time, which is probably gonna be tomorrow, because I kind of do have to go for now. And I don't know how long those hints are gonna be, so I think I'm just gonna call it for now, and just remember to read the tips. Sorry, I keep saying hints. If you need tips for phone call with Yuki, the recording of opening remarks, years in fire and taste of honey. Honey. Why was honey a thing? Honey was mentioned in the story. I don't remember where. The chick in the truck. The chick in the truck. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna read these next time, guys. That was a very long chapter. But yeah, I'm pretty much gonna go. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Oh, is that his hotel room? I'm gonna read the tips next time. Pretty much starting it. But yeah, that's the beginning of this part, I guess. The I forgot what this was called. Hinamatsuri. Yeah, I love that anime. But yeah, pretty interesting setup. No Keiichi, no none of the crew. I mean, they're obviously alive and they exist here. We're probably gonna run into them maybe, but like nothing. No Keiichi, yeah, and it's set in the past. I kind of like this though. It's very interesting. It's pretty cool to have like an adult perspective on the matter rather than a kid. But yeah, not much to say right now. I guess I'm just gonna leave it there. Yeah, probably gonna stream again tomorrow and continue. I think this is a short chapter, so it won't take too long. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it, and take care of yourself. Bye.